Good morning and welcome to the holiday edition of News Desk here on the JoyNews channel. Coming to you live from our Coco Blimley studios here in Accra. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144 and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up in this bulletin, the presidency has come under a barrage of criticism for the response it has authored to the report of the former chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Prof Kojo Braces. Also in this bulletin, the new Patriotic Party has elected Ernest Yao Enim to contest the upcoming by-election in the Kumewu constituency. We have details on that and how the constituency is shaping up for this particular by-election. Also, we'll take you to the UAE, where Ghanaian students there have been using the Ramadan period to pray for the economy of this country. More plus business coming up in this hour. My name is Prof Kojo Braces. Do stay with us for details. Well, the new Patriotic Party has elected Ernest Yao Enim to contest the upcoming by-election in the Kumewu constituency. He attained 195 votes to beat closest contestant Ama Sewa, who polled 181 votes. Dr. Acosta Boaji polled 27 votes, while Kwame Appiah-Kubi and Osei Shre Bempa shared 15 votes. Nana Aljima has more in the following report.
All delegates, after the introduction of the aspirants in the NPP primary, were made to pledge support for whoever is elected as parliamentary candidate. Mosquito, the aspirants for the primary were also made to pledge unity after the election. Issues of vote buy leveled against aspirants were openly denied. Mr. Kodia alerted the police to arrest any individual who attempted to make their ballot open.
And this is one some of can I am sure me boa. Abana eba betono MPP edi ehune. Ye this year no obi e beto amani bia no ye nyina be ka bo me boa.
Delegates were called in turns to cast their ballot. After about 2 hours, all 419 delegates had cast their ballots.
Based on the results, we hereby declare Ernest Yao Enim as the elected parliamentary candidate for the Kumewu by-elections.
The elected parliamentary candidate, Ernest Yao Enim, called on all contestants to support his bid to win the Kumewu by-election.
From this moment, I dissolve my campaign team and I'm committed to forming an inclusive campaign team that will bring together everyone from the divide so that we can collectively fight for the battle ahead of us. I know my people believe in my vision and my vision is to bring everyone together. And I believe that as we are committed to ensuring peace, everybody following me will be shaped in line, and we would all come together and understand that this victory is not just for NST or my group, but for everybody who is a party member of our great party here. I know my people believe in me, and they are committed to ensuring that we work together as one unit. I believe that once we work as a unit, victory will be our portion. Kumawu, as we all know, is an MPP seat, and once party members are committed to ensuring that we are working together, I believe that victory would be on a silver platter for us.
The losing candidates have reiterated their support for the NPP candidate.
It was a close contest, but MPP is the winner. We have a winner. I congratulate Ernest. And like we said, we pledge to support him. I'm happy he has won. Congrats to him.
Congratulations to Ernest. He's done it. He's done it for Kumewu. We will all support him. It was a good experience. I mean, it's my first time, and I think I made a little bit of impact, but all the best to Ernest, and we will all support him to take the seat to retain the seat. So congratulations to Ernest.
MPP na adi nkunim. Kumewu na adi nkunim. Minim se wei adi nkambo mu ababa ye nyina ye ntem. Na me so me pledge me support. Adi ma mi nua pani Ernest Yaw anim.
For JoyNews, Nana Yaujima, Kumawu.
So already the NDC had 8 candidates. Now the MPP has, and there's an independent candidate there. So once all the parties have their respective candidates, how's the race shaping up in the constituency? Nana Yaujima joins us live with some update. Nana, first, how's the constituency shaping up for this election?
So the by-election is said to be one of the closely contested by-elections in recent times. Mind you, the NPP winning the previous parliamentary election, which was in 2020, won by a very slim margin by the numbers we've been seeing over the years. They won this time by 3,000, beating the independent candidate. Now, Kumawu is a traditional seat for the New Patriotic Party. Over the years, they've been winning by margins above 20,000 when you compare their numbers to that of the NDC. The emergence of the independent candidate in 2020 closed in the gap from that 20,000 and over margin to about 3,000 votes. Now, for this reason, many believe that it wouldn't be surprising to see the independent candidate who has declared intentions to contest this election close in the gap again, and if possible, win the seat this time around. Because the independent candidate, during the last conversation I had with him, he said that per his numbers and his figures that he was able to collate in the 2020 election, he won the election, and he said some private observers who were on the ground also confirmed that per their numbers, the independent candidate won the election. So he believes that if he does the things right, he will be able this time around to get the decision of the to get many of the electorates within the area vote him and make him the candidate and make him the MP this time around. So it's expected to be a closely contested race. Already the NDC had brought up their candidate who had already started campaigning in the area, and according to the NDC, they are gaining roots in the area, so they believe that they are also in a proper position to win the election. Now the MPP has its candidate, and this is a candidate who is known to the people of Kumawu. He is a native of Kumawu, and over the years, from my checks, he's been working together with the late MP, Philip Baswa. He's a close ally of Philip Baswa, and many believe that due to his popularity within the Kumawu constituency, he will be able to bring unity to the front of the New Patriotic Party and help them win the election Mind you, the New Patriotic Party within the Kumaru constituency over the years have seen lots of divisions. There have been a lot of factions that's within the NPP, and this many believe has affected the NPP negatively in the constituency, and this is why there's an independent candidate from their fold who has now emerged as a strong force and has been battling the NPP for the seat. So now what the NPP needs is unity. This is a traditional seat or traditional grounds for the NPP, and if they would be able to win the seat, it means that they'll have to get all their party members on board, especially those who helped the independent candidate campaign in the previous election to back into the NPP, and this time around work for the New Patriotic Party to ensure that they deliver the victory that they have been yearning for, and also more importantly to many of the NPP people in the constituency, get that dominance within the Kumaru constituency. So it's promising to be a closely contested race, and the 1 month that we have ahead of us will determine whether the NPP will be able to, as quickly as possible, close all party ranks and get everybody on board to work towards the retaining the Kumaru seat.
Okay, so it's more of a race between the MPP and the independent candidates, not as we see the MPP and the NDC, right?
Exactly. From the speeches that were held yesterday at the grounds, that is where the election took place, the NPP's election took place, everything and all the speeches were directed towards the independent candidate.
Okay.
It means that the NPP believe that independent candidate is stronger than the NDC. From Chairman Bernard Nchubo-Siako Chamawun to me, to the General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong Kodia, and all the others who were there to deliver speeches, they were all trying to tell their party members to withdraw from the camp of the independent candidate and see a united NPP now come together and work towards the retaining the seats for the NPP. In the clip we just played, we heard the General Secretary of the party making their members, delegates and also aspirants, pledge to working for the NPP even if their preferred candidates do not win the election. And many believe that it is the first step towards ensuring that the party is closely knitted together for the election.
Okay. Now, stay with me a bit longer, because the police, we understand, has been able to arrest a police officer, Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, who is alleged to have shot and killed a female adult who was believed to be his girlfriend. Now, the shooting incident occurred in Kumasi in the Ashanti region on Thursday, 20th April 2023. The suspect, who has been on the run since the incident, was arrested at Sechere near Efidiase in the Ashanti region as a result of a special police operation which was launched following the shooting incident. The suspect is currently in police custody and will be put before court to face justice. What more do we know of this, Nana?
So immediately this story broke our checks. When we got there, we met the police there who had already begun investigation. The night of the incident, that's around 10 p.m. on the 20th, the police were there and they commenced investigation. The next day, they were also there to pick some evidence and cordon off the area. And from the information that we had, there are some shops which had some CCTV cameras pointing directly towards the angle in which, or the area where the lady was shot. So police were able to retrieve some of these footages to help with their investigation. Immediately we got to the ground, there was speculation, or we picked information that the individual who shot the lady is a police officer, and he was with the SWAT unit of the Ghana Police Service. These were just speculations that we couldn't put out. And on Saturday, the story, the rumors became very strong with pictures of the person or the person suspected to have killed the lady calculation. So it was just yesterday in the evening that we had the information that police had picked up this suspect. Police is yet to give any further any further information on the arrest, but reaching out to the family, this is what they were expecting, because on Friday evening I spoke to some of the family members and they could give me the name of this individual, even though they could not establish the relationship between the deceased and the police officer. But this is what they were expecting, and they hope that the law will take its due course, and this officer, if found culpable, will pay the price for committing such a crime.
We're grateful for the update you joined us from the Ashanti region. Now to other stories, and one of the conceptions in the public domain about the Anopheles stevensii mosquito has been its ability to withstand extreme temperatures. But is it really true? In the second of our series on unraveling the Anopheles stevensii, JoyNews medical correspondent Dr. Netta Prasam looks at the insect temperature resilience. He spoke to Dr. Kingsley Bedu, Vice President of the Pan-African Mosquito Control Association of Ghana.
What time is it? 7:30. Time the Anopheles stevensii is usually out. We've already spoken about the peak biting times of the Anopheles stevensii, that is from 6 p.m. to around 9 p.m. But is it just about the peak biting time? What about temperature? We have heard that it's able to withstand high temperatures. Really?
For extreme temperature, I'm not sure we can say it is adapted to extreme temperatures. What we do know from knowledge available is the fact that it has high tolerance. I mean, the spectrum of tolerance for temperature is broader compared to that of the Anopheles gambiae. For example, it's been reported that it's able to endure temperatures about 3.4 degrees Celsius lower and higher than that of the Anopheles gambiae. So which means that if Anopheles gambiae is able to survive somewhere 16, 17 degrees Celsius, is able to go lower, 3.4 degrees lower than that. And if Anopheles gambiae is able to survive 33, 34, 35 degrees Celsius, it's capable of going 3.4 degrees Celsius above that. And so, I mean, perhaps that gives it the ability to adapt to broad conditions of temperature, and perhaps one of the reasons why it's able to invade Africa coming from.
So, protect yourself against the Anopheles stevensii mosquito by sleeping under insecticide-treated mosquito nets, wearing long clothing, making use of insect repellents, and using indoor residual spraying. For JoyNews, Dr. Netta Prasam.
Now, the presidency has come under a barrage of criticism for the response it has offered to the report of the former chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining last week. In a report that Professor Frimpong Boateng sent to the Chief of Staff in 2021, it was leaked to the public. Now, in that report, the former minister accused some high-ranking members of the Nana Addo-led government for the active involvement in illegal mining. Let's share with you part of this report that Professor Frimpong Boateng authored. Now, in that report, he sought to name people who are involved. He says that this was reported to Cabinet at its meeting on 28th February 2019, despite the fact that Cabinet directed the Minister for Land and Natural Resources to suspend the issuance of new licenses and permits by the Forestry Commission, and also to suspend the licenses already issued for operation in 47 forest reserves. The directives were ignored and the destruction continued. Now, the report again says, was still, soldiers had officially been withdrawn from mining sites, but in many areas, regular Ghana Army personnel were seen providing security at illegal mining sites. Galam Stop is a powerful tool to strengthen the regulatory agencies. Unfortunately, the Forestry Commission refused to use it, and the Minerals Commission approached it. half-heartedly. It still remains an important tool for anyone who wants to achieve lasting results in managing the small-scale mining sector. Now, he again continues to say that although it was worrying, I was not surprised that the Forestry Commission did not migrate onto the Galamsey platform. Mr. Kojo Braces, aka Sir John, was actively giving out timber concessions, even in forest reserves, for logging. He also gave forestry entry permit to mining companies, both large and small scale, including those of foreign nationals, for prospecting activities at a time when the president had put a ban on that activity. Through, he mentioned a certain name, we have to edit it. Sir John had Chinese gangs doing mining on his behalf. The issue about rosewood exploitation is something that is beyond the scope of this report. Now, the report again, cited a lot of people for their involvement in this, and this report has attracted a lot of public outcry. Now, this compelled the presidency to come out with a report. And in that report, or that release that was brought over the weekend, the presidency described the document as a catalogue of personal grievances and claims made by Professor Frimpong Boateng intended to respond to some issues he faced as chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Now, let's share with you some aspect of this report. It says, the attention of the Office of the President has been drawn to a publication in the media, ostensibly quoting from a document authored by the former Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation and chairperson of the erstwhile Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Kojo Frimpong Boateng, which allegedly impute wrongdoing on the part of some government appointees in the fight against Galamsey. Now, the statement says, at the outset, it must be pointed out that the document being discussed was not an official report formally delivered to the Office of the President. On the contrary, it can only be rightly referred to as a catalogue of personal grievances and claims made by Professor Frimpong Boateng intended to respond to some issues he faced as chairperson of the IMCIM. Now, the document was handed to the Chief of Staff at the Office of the President on March 19, 2021 in an informal meeting where Professor Frimpong Boateng complained about public attacks and criticisms made about his tenure as chairperson of the IMCIM. Now, it says this was after Professor Frimpong Boateng's tenure as minister had not been renewed by the President of the Republic in his second term. The document did not have a transmittal or cover letter or indeed an addressee such as to suggest that it was submitted to the Chief of Staff for action. It was noteworthy that the IMCIM was a creature of cabinet and any formal report of its activities would normally be submitted to cabinet through the cabinet secretary or directly to the President of the Republic as chairperson of cabinet. Till date, Professor Frimpong Boateng has done neither of the two. It is important also to point out that whilst Professor Frimpong Boateng makes serious allegations against some government appointees as having been involved in supporting or interfering with the fight against illegal mining, not a single piece of evidence was adduced or presented to enable the claims to be properly investigated. But on the AM show on JoyNews Monday, Professor Kojo Braces of the University of of the University of Ghana Faculty of Law described the response from the presidency as disingenuous. According to him, it will be strange for cabinet to say it was not aware of the report presented to the Chief of Staff by Professor Frimpong Boateng.
For me, I think the matter was swept under the carpet because if you look at the reports, it is not just an ordinary report. It's not just an informal discussion as it is being alleged. Of course, we don't have all the complement of facts to come to a definite conclusion. But if you put the pieces together, the evidence can be corroborated to come to the conclusion that this is not just a personal rantings by the former minister about an issue that he confronted while doing his work as a minister and as part of the chair of that committee that was set up. So it is unfortunate that that is the spin that the government is putting on it. But it is obvious for well-meaning people to discern and to see that this is a deliberate attempt to sweep something under the carpet and to come up with some justification which does not seem to fly.
To come up with some justification that does not seem to fly. But what do you feel could have led to this situation? Why do you think, you say it was swept under the carpet, but why do you think that was?
Well, for a number of reasons. I think one is the obvious fact that who is running the show, the governance system that we have, who is running it, it's not just the government that has been brought to power. And so in this situation, you have some forces that work behind or are working behind the government. And it's not only peculiar to Ghana. It's as a result of the kind of democratic system that has been imposed on us. And so we have a system where people support campaigning and people need to be paid back for what they have put into the campaign exercise. And so for that matter, it's difficult for government to, expose such people. And for that matter, it creates a situation where some issues are swept under the carpet just to protect people who are in high places and who are involved in such practices. I think that is the bottom line.
Also on the same show, a former flag bearer of the governing, flag bearer aspirant of the governing MPP, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, says for the report to sit at the presidency for 2 years without any action is a blot on the president's integrity.
I think it's a damning, substantive, fact-filled report, and the idea that it sat on the president's desk for 2 years is unimaginable and unfathomable.
Some have said that it was presented to the chief of staff and that the president may not have seen it. Some have even gone as far as suggesting that if Professor Frimpong Boateng wanted this to gather the sort of steam he is putting out now, then he should have addressed it at the cabinet level. How do you respond to such concerns or comments?
Well, I mean, those saying that are not serious. To begin with, all around the world, everybody knows that when you hand a report to the chief of staff, it is as good as handing it to the president, unless the president wants to say he has no confidence in his chief of staff. As for presenting it at the cabinet level, at that time he had left the cabinet, so he couldn't have presented it to the cabinet. Furthermore, the report itself contains clear, unambiguous instances of him bringing up to the president the problems that the Interministerial Committee task force was having, particularly, for example, with regard to the senior minister, with regard to Sir John, with regard to a lot of others, and the president promising to address those. He didn't. So the idea that if he wanted to be serious, he would have presented it at the cabinet level, it's really a non-starter, and no serious person will say that. I think that not only that, I actually am happy that we're doing this on JoyNews, because you and your reporter Erastus Asaridonko did some very brave reporting in which you highlighted a lot of the problems in Galamsey. There were instances where two groups of military people almost came to blows, with one group with the Interministerial Committee, another group protecting the Galamseyers. And this was aired and everybody saw it. So the idea that this report has been on the blind side of the president is really a joke and an insult both to the president's intelligence and integrity as well as to Ghanaians.
Both to the president's intelligence and integrity. Why do you say that?
I mean, it is obvious that those making the argument are not serving him well. You know, when you say that a president chief of staff has had a report for 2 years, but he didn't know about it, I mean, that's really not on. And secondly, I'm also saying that the reporting by Joy FM and other news outlets should have come to the attention of the president. So the idea that he didn't know about it is really something that serious people should not claim.
Earlier today, I actually interacted with Kojo Poku, who interestingly is a flag bearer aspirant for the MPP come November. You've been in that position before, and he said that he didn't take this as allegations. In fact, for him, they were fact. Now, do you take everything in this report by Professor Frimpong Boateng as the gospel truth?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but I would say that he has put on the table significant issues that require interrogation. I think some of them obviously are facts. Others we haven't verified. But, for example, when he says that I had a problem with the senior minister and I reported him to the president, and the president said I would deal with it, I had a problem with Gabi, and I reported to the president, and the president said he would deal with it. I think those can be taken as facts. I think the professor has put on the table substantive, reasonable, very verifiable facts on the table. And at this point, it is beyond speculation. And actually, it also begs the question about when the president himself pledged to put his presidency at stake to fight Galamsey, what he has done.
Now, with regards to Imperial Heritage Mining, even in the midst of a mining ban in 2018, the company was still mining with a prospective license in the Forest Reserve. Now, watch this.
In a once virgin restricted forest, they link one mining site to another deep in the reserve.
This is the Apamprama Forest Reserve, under the watch of the Forestry Commission. Now come with me as I take you through the devastation caused by illegal mining, even within a mining ban.
Many rare tree species nurtured for years have been felled with reckless abandon. At best, the miners process some into planks to construct makeshift sheds. The rest of the logs are buried deep under heaps of earth created around large uncovered pits. The destruction to these virgin forests is huge, over 15 different locations, each about the size of 10 football fields combined.
Several hectares of land destroyed in this manner, deep within the forest reserve. Now, many questions arise at the moment, and some of those questions are, so this devastation went on, and the Apraman Forest Reserve sites are right here. The Forestry Commission says it had no evil, it did not see anybody bringing in heavy equipment. This has lasted for close to a year. No government official got wind of it, or nobody was prepared to even face them.
At one such site in the Cobra Forest, head of security for mining firm Heritage Imperial Mining Company, ex-WO Adubuatin, told the task force it has the blessing of people he describes as high-powered to carry out operation in the area.
We are here. There's a document. No problem. A minor. Do you understand? I'm not a minor. So you.
In the last 5 days, a bold and relentless enforcement of the ban on small-scale mining has led to arrest of 20 Chinese nationals, 4 of them in the Diaso Forest Reserve at the weekend. 10 of the excavators have been sent to Accra and many mining settlements destroyed by the task force. Task Force Commander WO1 Isaac Nyako is overwhelmed by the wanton destruction of forest.
Indeed, this is the largest. In fact, I don't even know how to start and how to end. I'm even shocked seeing the ground like this. The largest so far at this very site.
Leader of the Interministerial Task Force, Nana Jekum, says the fight will continue. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Wow, so this is something we brought away from some of our old files there. But let's do a bit more on this by bringing in Awula Sewa, the coordinator of Eco-Conscious Citizens, GH, who joins us via Zoom now. Awula, I'm grateful that you could join us here. Now, with listening to both reports from Professor Frimpong Boateng and from the presidency, listening to Professor Etia, listening to Dr. Kennedy, Arthur Kennedy, and watching this file we brought to you from our archives. What's your reaction to all of these developments?
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. I'll just say that I'm saddened and extremely disappointed. First of all, I'm grateful to the press, yourselves. I'm grateful to the previous speakers. I think they've said it all. There's nothing much for me to add. It's just beyond words that the presidency has sat on this report. And the kind of what it has put out is, I don't want to use the word, but it's laughable. These are serious allegations that have been put out. We've seen the facts. Why hasn't anything been done until now? The only reason something is being done now is that it has been exposed. Has it not been exposed? It will be sitting on somebody's desk, which shows that we do not care about our environment. We have absolutely no interest in our environment. All we care about is destroying the environment for what? For gold? It's just disappointing. That's all I can say.
When the Professor Frimpong Boateng report came, what was your expectation from the presidency?
Well, I think immediately there needs to be action taken. He named people. We could have asked the professor for further and better particulars, but I think a lot of information was inside the document. You could have put an end to what was going on and suspend these officers. I have to say that the Forestry Commission has serious questions to answer. We do know that Mr. Aloti said a while back that he had no objections to mining. It's like the firefighter saying that he has no objections to arsonists working. I think he needs another job. The mandate of the Forestry Commission is to protect our forests, not to open it up for mining. Second of all, there's been a ban which is not being enforced. But please, we should ask ourselves, why do we even issue prospecting licenses for forest reserves? Forest reserves are to be left intact. So what is the point? What is the logic in issuing prospecting licenses when we know that it's being used to mine? So I would say that the action to be taken was enforce the bans, and these highly placed persons should lose their positions of influence until this whole investigation is completed. I keep on saying there must be an independent inquiry, independent, because we know that there's involvement on both sides of the political divide, and there's no real seriousness in getting to the bottom of it. The only reason why we are having this conversation is because the document was exposed. Otherwise, it would still be sitting in somebody's drawer and nothing would have been done about it. JoyNews did an excellent expose. What has happened to the investigation? Has it gone anywhere? Has anybody been prosecuted? Of course not. Because putting the presidency on the line seems to be mere words. It doesn't seem to be followed by any serious action.
Now, since 2017 to date, what's your level of trust that there will be any independent investigation into some of these allegations?
Well, there'll be nothing until we continue pressing. Again, well done to the media who have been pressing. Now, every environmentally minded citizen in this country, we know that when the last tree dies, the last man dies, any serious individual in this country should add their voice and put pressure on the government to put a time frame for setting up an independent inquiry where organizations, civil society, individuals, journalists, all those with information can bring it to the fore. And there should be a time frame for the inquiry to be completed, and the report has to be made public. It cannot be hidden in anybody's drawer. So this is what we should all be adding our voice to. We cannot be spectators. The president himself said not to be spectators, but to be active. And active citizens cannot and should not stand idly by whilst our country is being destroyed. It's being destroyed. For what? For a mess of pottage? And I should say shame on all those who are involved in mining, whether the people had licenses or not. You should not be helping your country to be destroyed, so that very soon we might have to import water. And the air we are breathing is not going to be purified if we are destroying all our forest reserves. And what about the floods we've been having? We know the various functions of forests and so on and so forth. This is just disappointing.
All right, Aula, I'm grateful to you, but I'm tempted to ask you that in this whole fight against Galamsey, how do you think we can win this war? In the next 1 minute, you can do it for me.
We can win this war if we are serious. We are not serious. That's why we have not made any progress. There have been so many exposés. Let's deal with those involved. Akonta mining, for instance. Why have the directors not facing prosecution as we speak? Until we show some seriousness by dealing with the highly placed persons who are involved, there's no seriousness in this fight. It's mere words, and we're all tired of the mere words. We are all tired of the mere. Mr. President, please take action. You know those involved. Please take the right action. Let us understand that you really mean it when you said you are putting your presidency on the line. Right now, it seems to be mere words. You know those involved. They are your friends. Please, please, please make sure that they are prosecuted for destroying our forest reserves and poisoning our water bodies.
Aula, I'm grateful to you for joining us. Aula Soa is coordinator of the Eco-Conscious Citizens GH. Now, it will interest you to note that Muslim Ghanaians in Dubai use the Ramadan season to seek God's intervention for the growth of our country. With the current economic turmoil, many of these Ghanaian students join locals of Sharia at Al Qasima University to pray for a turnaround for their country. My colleague Jackson Osei, who has been monitoring event closely from the United Arab Emirates, narrates how some of these students expressed optimism that their call to Allah about Ghana will yield results.
Eid Fitr is being celebrated across the whole world. Today, JoyNews, we are here at Al Qasima University in Sharjah State in the UAE. We've come to talk to some of our Ghanaian brothers here in the university. We want to find out how education is ongoing here and even how the whole fasting went for them. What are the benefits they got to from the fasting, and also how education or everything here in the UAE is treating them. We want to find out if they are ready to come back to Ghana to help with the knowledge they've acquired here in Al Qasima University, or they would want to go to a different country.
So far, I would say Alhamdulillah, it's been great. Because, getting the opportunity to travel outside and study, not everybody gets the opportunity, so we are thankful, inshallah. If we come, do they use us? No. If you put us in position that we can affect change, I think we are all happy to help because it's our country. If it's good for all of us. If it's bad for all of us. So if you put us in places to affect changes, I think it will help. But the problem is when you come back, there are no opportunities for you. So you come back and then continue your life where you left off. So that's the problem we are facing. Give the youth the opportunity. Because there are people who have ideas, who have many things to contribute to the economy, to the nation, on building the country, things we learn outside. But there are no opportunities. So if you don't have the opportunity, you cannot do anything. So you'll just be sitting there doing nothing. In Ghana, I keep praying. All things will be possible. Things are possible. Things will be possible. We just have to keep praying and then working hard towards our goal. Everything will be fine, inshallah. As for me personally, let's see where the lower life takes us, inshallah. I cannot say for sure. But if life takes us back to Ghana, inshallah, we are happy to contribute to the nation. If it takes us somewhere else, maybe someday we come back and contribute some other way.
My name is Haruna Saibo from Ghana, the northern part of Ghana, Tamale. We are at Al Qasima University in Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. I came here in the year 2019, 4 years now. We give thanks to the Almighty Allah for making it possible for us to begin the fasting right from the beginning up to the end of it, which ended yesterday. And today marks, the first of Shawwal, which is, the happiest day of, all Muslims across the globe. we have come today, to thank the Almighty Allah for making for making the Ramadan possible for us, and we also come here to thank the Almighty Allah for for His bounties and for His blessings upon us and all Muslims across the globe. Actually, comparing the system here to that of the system in Ghana, I would say that maybe because of technology, I would say that the system here is a little bit better, compared to the level of technology here, the advancement in technology. Because we come and realize that when we started online classes, online lectures, we came to realize that we are lacking behind. As Africans, we are lacking behind. As people who doesn't know how to use the technology or the methodology of teaching and learning, in our online teaching and learning. But right now we are getting used to the system, that is the online teaching and learning system. We extend our greetings to our brothers and sisters in Ghana, all Muslims, all brothers and sisters in Ghana. We also thank especially people, who came to who put barakah in our lives, people who change our lives, especially where we are standing right now, Al Kashmir University. Our thanks goes to the financier. Our thanks goes to the founder of this university, Dr. Muhammad Sultan Abdul Qasim. May Allah bless him and bless his entire family.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Abdurrahman Rahimov from Uzbekistan. Ramadan is very nice and beautiful in UAE because all all things we can do, and as a student we have scholarship, and there is no any issue with food and other things, and actually I prefer to eat fruits and some liquids like water or other things, and they are also different in UAE. So there is no any issue with fasting, alhamdulillah. A happy Ramadan for all. I wish all the best for you, and taqabbalallah minna minkum. Hayat mubarak bo'lsin, hammamizdan Alloh rozi bo'lsin.
Prayer for the Eid al-Fitr has come to an end at Al Kashmir University here at Sharjah in the UAE. We got to talk to some of our brothers from Ghana, and they've made us know what will go into this Eid al-Fitr celebration, and also what they expect from Ghanaians, even as they are here in someone's state. Reporting from Al Kashmir University here in Sharjah in the UAE. My name is Jackson Osein Tiamo. JoyNews.
Watching JoyNews Desk. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with business. Stay with us.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. Ghana's nuclear power program has been left idle nearly 60 years since independence in 1957. In 2008, Cabinet took a decision to include nuclear energy in the country's energy generation mix and pave the way for its inclusion in the National Energy Policy and Strategy. Now, this led to the establishment of the Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization to oversee the implementation and coordination of nuclear power program. Over the weekend, Nuclear Power Ghana and Ghana Atomic Energy Commission held a two-day engagement at the Ho Technical University in the Volta region to share knowledge. Here's more in this report.
A major research of nuclear research in the mid-1950s showed that nuclear energy could produce electricity for commercial use. Nuclear Power Ghana and the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission held a two-day engagement with the faculty and students of Ho Technical University to share knowledge, connect and learn opportunities in nuclear energy, and to demystify the myth associated with nuclear energy. The two institutions entered into a tripartite memorandum of understanding on the 15th September 2022. The Director of Planning and Quality Assurance at the Ho Technical University, Engineer Dr. Mahwese Nyatuame, in addressing the students, said plans are far advanced to introduce a curriculum in nuclear power.
For NCUs, what we intend to do as part of the agreement is to build capacity. So we are already started building a curriculum on nuclear power. That is going to be run. We're going to get a foundation course. That's like we run the PQ. I know some of you remember PQ. What is PQ? Decision policy. I went through that. We're going to be compulsory for the second years. So we'll be doing a foundation course.
The Director, Nuclear Power Institute of Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Sadebra, assured the general public that the use of nuclear power is safe.
If nuclear, I've worked with the nuclear fraternity for 15 years. So my first assignment as a national service person was at the Pompanoti Teaching Hospital, where I did more radiotherapy calculations. Because I'm a physicist, I did more radiotherapy calculations to cure people of cancer. And we use nuclear technologies to do that. You go to the hospital, we use X-rays. It's been something we've been using in this country, even in the industry. You go to the hospitals, everywhere you go, there are applications of nuclear. The only place we've not stepped as a country is power. And it's just a natural progression into power. We've taken all the precautionary measures. We are not doing this in isolation as Ghana. We are doing this in consultation and in partnership with the International Atomic Energy Agency to make sure that we do this and we do this right. Because they are the UN arm that is responsible to make sure that the framework is laid out and countries are actually following the framework. We've already gone through what we call the integrated nuclear infrastructure review missions. The first one and the follow-up for phase 1 of this program actually have 3 phases. So we've already done with phase 1, and we've had very good reviews from the International Atomic Energy Agency and other international bodies that we are working with. So the message simply is this: we are safe as a country. We need to do this as a country. If we want to propel ourselves as a developed country, as an industrialized country, we cannot actually overlook nuclear. We need to do this because our hydro resources are almost gone. Solar or the renewable resources are not stable enough. We need a new base load. It's either we go coal, which we know we are not familiar and we don't actually like, or we go nuclear. So if we want to survive as a people, we need to go nuclear. We are not the only country doing this. There are other countries.
Public Affairs Manager of Nuclear Power Ghana, Bellona Gerard Victor Kwao, expressed her excitement at the level of awareness.
It shows me that the level of awareness even has gone a lot deeper. It wasn't so much what is in need for them, but what contributions they can make. And I think it's a very positive thing to note, that what contributions they can make as against what they will gain from it. So with this background, it makes it a lot better for us to move them on to the next level as to what benefits they will get from it, not only as individual, but as an institution. And it is that collective support we look for in attaining the social license, which is a requirement for the nuclear power plant.
Some of the students shared their experiences after the program.
So they always say that catch them young. So them bringing this program to HT was a great opportunity for our students to also know actually what is going on in the country. And also when they spoke about this nuclear something, we all thought it was something like atomic bomb, just as compared to Russia, how they used to produce bomb and others. But at the end of the program, we got to know that it is an energy that will give us the same electricity that the hydroelectronic also produces. So it is a good feeling, and it is our prayer that it comes to stay. It shouldn't just be a teaching that should be going on in the country, but it should also be something that will be inculcated in all other institutions, which will help us to be able to generate more energy for Ghana to be on the safer side.
Ivy Satoji, JoyNews, Ho.
All right, that's it for business. Thanks for watching. Handing you back to Brace. Happy Eid, Brace.
Happy Eid, Dario. And that's how we wrap up today's bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Good morning.